Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. A vote to expel freshman Congressman George Santos just failed in the House of Representatives. It did not come close to meeting the constitutionally required two-thirds threshold to expel a member of Congress. It should be said the expulsion bar is very high to clear, and for good reason. Only 5 congressmen have been successfully expelled in our country's history. It has not happened in more than 20 years. The New York Republican George Santos has been a subject of almost too much controversy to list in a one-hour show since he was first elected to Congress nearly 1 year ago. In that time, we'll go briefly here, reporting revealed that Santos fabricated much of his resume, including business and educational experience, the fact that he was like a champion volleyball player, as well as personal connection to a number of national tragedies, including 9/11. And then there's the fact that Santos was also indicted earlier this year in May, before then getting hit with additional superseding charges last month, bringing the total up to 23 felony charges he now faces, which include aggravated identity theft, wire fraud, and credit card fraud. We should note Santos denies all those charges, and he deserves the chance to mount a vigorous defense against them in court, as is his constitutional right. His campaign treasurer, we should note, who is also caught up in this case, has already pleaded guilty, which doesn't bode great for Santos. But none of that was really the question at hand tonight. The question was whether Santos is fit to serve in Congress. And this was always an uphill climb. In fact, if tonight's vote had been successful, Santos would have been the first member of Congress to be expelled without a criminal conviction since the Civil War. The process is so rare because expulsion requires a two-thirds majority of the House, a level of unanimity that this body, or frankly any legislative body, has an extraordinarily difficult time reaching. Interestingly, this is the second time this year that an attempt has been made to expel Santos. Democrats first tried to remove him 6 months ago after he was first indicted. Republicans instead referred Santos to the House Ethics Committee in an attempt to sweep the problem under the rug. Tonight, it was Republicans leading the charge to remove Santos. The efforts was pushed by Republican Congressman Anthony D'Esposito of New York, along with 4 other New York Republicans, Mike Lawler, Nick LaLota, Mark Molinaro, and Brandon Williams. Now, all 5 of those men have something in common. They have all been vocal Santos critics. They all previously supported kicking the issue to the Ethics Committee instead of a proper expulsion vote, and they're all running for re-election in districts that Joe Biden carried. The Ethics Committee has not yet released a report on Santos, so what changed? Well, all 5 of those New York congressmen voted to elect the new MAGA Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and, well, elevating a pro-coup, anti-abortion, arguably Christian nationalist to the speakership could be seen as something of a vulnerability for those gentlemen in competitive New York districts. So it's not difficult to imagine that they might want a distraction from their culpability in electing MAGA Mike Johnson tonight. Trying and failing to remove George Santos was that distraction.
On this vote, the yeas are 179, the nays are 213, with 19 recorded as present. Two-thirds not voting in the affirmative. The resolution is not adopted, and a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Ali Vitale covers Congress for NBC News, and she joins me now. The wild day in the House there, Ali. How did it all go down?
Is there anything else in the House lately, Chris? All of them are wild days. I think with Santos, at least the Republicans in New York can now go home and say they tried. I mean, this was always going to be a long shot for them. We watched the fact that even more than 30 Democrats voted not to expel Santos. Only 20 some odd Republicans did vote to expel him. Among them, those key 5 New York Republican lawmakers. That's important to their reelection battles. I think you're right to point all of that out because the politics is so inextricably linked with the personnel decisions that are being made in this building right now. And I think that for Santos, the reason Republicans have slow-walked this for so long is because their majority is already razor thin. It would be like going from a 3-blade razor to a 2-blade razor, and they need all of the shave that they can get. So this is not something they're willing to go along with easily. It's why we've seen, even just in the last few minutes, Speaker Johnson walked by me just 2 minutes before I came on the air with you, and I asked him if Santos should be expelled, and he sort of shook his head and laughed at me for even asking the question. That's the way that most leadership have dealt with this, from McCarthy through Johnson now.
I don't mean to be overly cynical here, but it just seems transparent to me what happened. which is that Johnson got unanimity from the caucus. Everyone in the Republican Party voted for him. There are 5 members in New York who have a real uphill battle. A bunch of them voted, some of them voted for Jordan. They just voted for Mike Johnson. They have to come back to their district and say something about why they are not like the rest of those other Republicans you may not like, district that went plus Biden plus 8. And this was engineered essentially to give those gentlemen cover.
I think that that's one way of looking at it, and I think that that's probably the right way of looking at it, because this is all about getting political cover to make sure that the majority can be maintained in the short term, right? They don't want to They don't want to get rid of him because there's a special election, and you got to imagine those voters on Long Island are not going to be easily voting for another Republican again. So Republicans would rather take the short-term pain and have the long-term gain of the one seat that's in their 4 or 5 seat majority as it exists already. But yeah, for a lot of these folks, Mark Molinaro, for example, I'm from that area, that Hudson Valley area. Technically, my parents are in the Lawler district now, but I know that area well. The fact that Molinaro voted for Jim Jordan twice and then went along with the rest of his conference and voted for Johnson is definitely something that voters at home are going to have questions about. The election denialism central to those questions, but certainly that's what this Republican majority has said they're fine with. And I think that you sort of have to take them at face value on that is a feature, not a bug of this conference.